as well, or better than some of the Fairfield schools, and loved that it was a small, neighborly, safe, and felt wholesome. I grew up in West Virginia, so Connecticut felt like a different universe when I first arrived 20 years ago. I wanted my kids to have all the opportunities I could afford them in such a resource-rich area, but still provide a safe and hopeful, grounded environment. A town that has a farm in front of the elementary school and kindness posters on the walls seems to fit the bill. I know the budget feels like a big number and no one likes increases, but the board has already found all of the cuts it can. Cutting teachers or the arts isn't the right choice. Our classroom sizes need to stay on the smaller side. The special services budget line will only increase if you make the classes larger, and music and the arts help stimulate brain growth. The kids need creativity, and in some cases, the non-academically oriented kids need somewhere to feel successful, or again, you will need more special services to support those kids who don't find a place for themselves and have emotional issues as a result. I know this is simplified, but it is all true. The stats are out there. We don't have to look any further than the nightly news to see struggling kids younger and younger. A complicated issue for sure, but because our schools spend so many of because our children spend so many of their awake hours in the trusted care of schools, we all have an obligation to be sure those schools have the resources they need to be successful and to prepare our children to be successful adults. I support the budget as it stands, and while I know the town doesn't want to spend more on the school budget line than it needs to, the town does have a commitment to the residents and their children to ensure their educational needs are being met. The proposed budget reflects what those people closest to the schools know is needed to make that happen. I hope you will support them all and all of us who choose to live in this sweet little town and to place our children in its care. Thank you, Debbie Giblin.
Any other questions regarding the budget?
Okay, since so much as agenda item 4 is a discussion only item, there's no action to be taken. We'll move on to agenda item number 5, which is acceptance of the 5-year capital plan project. Is there a motion to accept the plan as it's been presented? Mr. Cott, okay, we are in the middle of the motion. Mr. Gatchie presented the overall budget in its entirety. Was it your expectation that you would make a presentation to this group?
Yes.
Okay. Well then, by all means, why don't you go forward and continue the conversation?
Well, thank you, Thomas. I will. Jeff Parker, Morning Glory Drive. Thank you all very much for taking the time to come out this evening. It is a pleasure to see you. And I will be sharing with you an updated version of what the 18-19 school budget is going to be. Slide 2. When I met with you folks about a month ago, the dollar figure was an increase of $702,000 and change, or a 4.44% increase. The Board of Education met with the Board of Finance. We had a lively discussion about costs, expenses, etc. Came to the agreement that not really the agreement, but the Board of Finance asked us to cut $100,000 worth of expenses. So the board went back and did just that. So our new number is $16,440,295. Is a $602,000 increase, which is a 3.81% increase. The reason behind the numbers, a very significant increase in special education costs, $679,000. Student transportation. This is the last year of a busing contract that we have with our current supplier. Unfortunately, it's a 12.5% increase, which is certainly a big number, and this $124,000 reflects that increase. Medical insurance is 193. Teachers' salaries, we just negotiated a new teacher's contract for the next 3 years, and the impact of those negotiations is 161,000. And there's a small central office increase of 32,799. What did we cut to reduce the budget by $100,000? Samuel Staples will lose a 10-month administrative assistant. We will also lose a math paraprofessional at Staples, a math paraprofessional at Helen Keller, and the reduction of some new library books at Helen Keller. That, in round terms, equals the $100,000 decrease. The impact of these things is never easy. For the parents here who have received information from both, from Kim Fox and Torah concerning changes in the security measures for people wanting to enter the schools. This is in part a reflection of those changes in terms of needing to cut a position, so we have to look at our security a little differently. The paraprofessionals are individuals who work with students in our Tier 2 grouping. These are kids that need a little extra help when it comes to mathematics. So we're going to have to rearrange our schedules and our teachers' time to make sure that we can still meet the needs of our students, because that is our #1 priority. So what will school look like for next year? There will be a reduction, not a deletion, but a reduction in Spanish at Samuel Staples. Helen Keller extracurricular activities are still not funded. We're going to work with Sue Kaplan, with the PTA, with fundraising ideas, meeting with other groups, because we will have extracurricular activities at Helen Keller. We will have them. We just are not asking the town to make that part of the budget going forward. We're adding a first grade teacher, so every grade level will have five teaching positions. We're adding a half-time special ed supervisor. Now, for those of you that have been around a while, you know that when Bernie Josephsberg was a superintendent, he reduced the number of administrators in the area of special ed between Easton and Reading. It was a good idea at the time, but as special education has continued to rise, the need for more administrative help has become very evident to us. So therefore, we're adding this half-time special education supervisor to better handle the load, better balance the load. There's an added healthcare benefits assistant, which will be in central office, and that is in part to the fact that when we negotiated our new teacher's contract, we moved away from what had been the vehicle that the district had used for years and years, which was a PPO, and we moved to a high deductible HSA. We've also added a SSO, that's a school security officer, and we'll be working with Chief Shaw on how that will play out, but that's part of our security plan for next year. What else should you know? Enrollment in Easton is starting to rise. We see it on the elementary level. If state testing is important to you and you want to know where Easton schools stand, we are #2 in the state out of 169 school districts in English language arts, and we're #6 in the state in mathematics. Special ed costs are increasing all over Fairfield County. I don't want you to think this is just an Easton phenomenon. It is very much a statewide phenomenon, and we have to be able to meet that challenge. And certainly the increase in security. We haven't missed any of the things that have been going on as it relates to to our schools and to some of the threats that have taken place around us. So we want to be absolutely sure that we do the very best job that we can to ensure the safety of our children. Questions? Now, good to see you.
Thanks, Jeff. Alan Dacey, Reading Road. I've been reading in the papers recently of a $400,000 shortage in the healthcare account for our teachers.
That's correct. Health claims. That's correct.
How do you plan to address that?
It was addressed today with the Board of Finance, and it has been brought to their attention prior to this. This is not a surprise. And I'll let the Board of Finance speak to how that will be handled, but it's a real expense, it's a town expense, and so the town's going to need to help the school board pay for it.
You'll recall, the last time I stood at this mic, I strongly encouraged you and the members of the Board of Finance and whoever else has any wherewithal in dealing with these matters to switching our health care plan to that that's provided by the state. There are several towns around us who do so, and it's simply a matter of numbers, folks. If you have a large pool of people in your plan, it's going to cost less per person. And we really need to do that. We can't keep getting hit with $1,300,000, $600,000, $400,000 overages because we're not going to a plan that will give us a smooth experience. We've got to change this.
Well, let me help you with that. I mentioned earlier that this year is the last year of the PPO that the school district has used since time immemorial. This was carefully vetted last summer, and the tri-board came up with deciding to hire a new agent, fire the one that we had in the wage of the $1.2 million, and hired a new outfit and asked for their analysis on what was in our best interest, the state plan or the HSA high deductible. Their recommendation was the HSA high deductible. So that is what we move forward with, and that's what we negotiated with our teachers union for. Now, can we judge it today? No. Next year will be the first year, and we will look and see if it does the things that we have been told that we should expect. And if it does, then that's great, because believe me, I don't want to stand up here and talk about health claim problems either. So we'll see what next year brings, and if it is what we have been told, then we shouldn't have the problem next year that we're having this year.
Did you say that the same company that recommended the HSA plan is the one that's providing us the plan?
The agent, we changed agents, okay? And we also did an independent vetting of the state plan against HSAs in general. And so that came, this was during Peggy Sullivan's time here as a finance director. And their findings were that the state plan was not in our collective best interest. That's why we decided to move forward with the HSA. Now the current vendor gave us all the numbers for the HSA and told us what our expectations should be, and so that's what we're moving forward with.
Thank you, Jeff.
You're welcome, now.
I just don't understand, how would medical insurance be more than
Sir, if you would mind coming up to the mic,
I thought if I spoke loud enough.
Maybe I don't understand the notice.
You can state your name.
Chris report. Just a question, right? Medical insurance, why would that be more than the teacher's salary? If you're talking about PPO or HR, I mean, I thought those were.
An HSA.
Whatever, but why would that be more than what we did?
Well, the teacher contract, the general wage increase for the next 3 years is 0.65. The impact of that with adding a step for the teachers that are not yet at the highest step comes out to 2.52 for year 1, 2.47 for year 2, and 2.77 for year 3. Medical costs fall outside of something that we have much control as it relates to claims. Certainly, administrative costs we can impact. We put 193,000 more into that account to try to avoid some of the problems that we have had in recent years, where we've had an overage, where we've had a shortfall. 3 years ago, 1.2 million. Last year was 100,000, and this year is 400,000.
So maybe I didn't understand. Do teachers pay for medical
Yes, they do.
insurance, or does the town pay that?
It is a shared responsibility. Teachers pay 20%. The district pays 80%. Sir?
On top of that number?
That's what helped make something.
Oh, maybe I just didn't understand. Oh, it's just, okay.
No, the total medical expense
That's my mistake.
is something in the neighborhood of...
That's, I just couldn't figure out how the teachers could pay for that.
Oh, okay. All right, very good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Devin Michael, Woodland Drive. I don't have a question, I just want to say thank you. I've been following the budget process with the Board of Finance and the school board, and I know the incredible hours of work that goes into it and how much you care about our kids. And I just think it's extremely important that we vote yes on the 8th to making sure that our kids get what they deserve and what they need in order to be successful in the classroom. And I want to say a huge thank you to the principals for coming to every meeting and expressing their opinions that are I guess their expertise more than their opinions. And what I've seen, I have a 5-year-old who's in the pre-K program here, who starts kindergarten next year, which is crazy to think about.
Congratulations.
But his social emotional growth, his academic growth has been remarkable, and I'm just so thankful to be in Easton, which is the reason we moved here. And so just want to say thank you for all the hard work that all of you do.
Thank you.
Staff for all the work that they do with our children too. I'm sure it's frustrated times, but again, I'm here for the children of Easton. Clarification point, the state mandated test in ELA, state mandated test in math, that's the Smarter Balance test.
Yes.
That lack validation and reliability.
According to you.
According to
According to you.
of research.
According to you. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Mike, are you prepared to speak a little bit about Region 9? Would you like to?
Happy to.
You've got 5 more minutes. No, Mike D'Agostino, he's the chairman.
I understand that someone here is speaking on behalf of the Region 9 budget, so I can afford to do so at this time. Thank you very much.
Good evening, I'm Mike D'Agostino. I'm the chair of the Region 9 board. So I came with you to share some good news tonight. So it's the Region 9 presentation. Very quickly, those interested in standardized tests, we're ranked 4th out of 135 Connecticut high schools. This is our enrollment chart. This is something to be mindful of. This comes from our demographer, Dr. Peter Prouda. And if you take note, the enrollment at Region 9 is declining. And by the year 2025, 2026, we will be down roughly 199 students. So this is something that we're paying close attention to. This is the apportionment, 2018-2019. And as I said in the beginning, the good news for Easton, as both towns are losing students due to declining enrollment. Easton will be losing 45 students, Reading will be losing 15 students, so there's a net shift of 30 students, which Easton will have 30 fewer students. That shift is a 1.76%, which is an increase of $421,068 to Reading. These are the budget increases. These are the contractual salary increases, 1.1 for teachers, 1.3 for teachers on the top step, which is approximately 2.95%. Special education, we also have an increase, but of $249,889. There's the central office increase, which is split 3 ways. Number 4 is a school resource officer for the high school. And that is something that, if you went to the school safety seminar, you remember I felt was a town expense, but we felt very strongly that we wanted to put it in this year, and there just wasn't time to go through all the, machinations with the 2 towns, so we put it into our budget. And 5th is the increase in transportation, as Jeff noted, the 3rd year of our transportation contract. These are the reductions. These are all enrollment driven, the staff reductions. 1 science teacher and a 0.2 of a social studies teacher. We also deferred AP calculus textbooks. 4 is a reduction of athletic transportation, and that's through cooperative agreements with neighboring towns and by transporting multiple towns on the same bus. Again, trying to be more efficient. And number 5 is deferring administrative training and non-essential PD and curriculum work. And these are the numbers. The proposed operating budget is $24,483,453. The variance year over year is 2.92, really 2.919, but I had to round it up. And Easton's share will go down $109,555, or roughly 1%. Questions?
Hi, Rick Pack, Good Morning Glory Drive. I think you said here are what the enrollment will be over the next several years. Is that what you said?
Projected enrollment, yes.
Okay, that's what I wanted to say. I just wanted to point out that these are projections. I think if you both, if you've looked at them, I'm sure you have, they've been wrong very often in the past. Dr. Crowder's own description of it gives all the caveats about what's weak with it, what could be better, and the track record, we shouldn't count on it being this way, and I hope you express it that way.
No, absolutely, I agree. I just think, when the trend shows, we'll be down nearly 200 students over the next 7 or 8 years, it's something we have to be mindful of and take into account.
Thanks, Mike, for your presentation. I have less of a question, a statement, where everybody here in the room are going to be voting next week on the Region 9 budget as a separate budget item. You all should bear in mind, beware, the average student expenditure for Joel Barlow next year is going to be just shy, $15 shy, $29,000. You can send your child to UConn with tuition, room and board and fees for less money than that. And I think that's a daunting figure when you compare what you get from a nationally recognized university with food and housing and recreation as compared to what we're paying for. It's a scary thought, very scary thought. Bear it in mind, because it'll go up next year probably closer to $30,000 a year. I'm also going to take this opportunity to take $70,000 from the capital expenditure budget for the bathroom line. It should be self-funded by the users rather than the town, and that's my motion. Is there a second?
With all due respect, you're not the moderator, so that is not included as an agenda item to take action on specific line items in the budget, so that it will be denied.
The actions taken by our selectmen were illegitimate, and they know it. And every other town in this state requires its town meeting, budget town meeting, to be able to lower its expenditure, including Weston, Wilton, and Richfield. Explicitly, you can lower your budget at a town meeting, but not increase it. Why are we different? What makes it so different? What are our selectmen trying to hide? I think they're breaking the law, personally.
Thank you. It's not on the agenda, so we will not be entertaining any motions to either increase.
Can it be added to the agenda?
No.
This isn't a special meeting, Tom. This is a regular meeting, an annual meeting. You can add items to an annual meeting.
Okay, as moderator, I've made my ruling, and we're going to move on. Are
I
there any
move
other
that we
questions?
add my motion to the agenda.
Are there any other questions on the region item?
I move that we add my motion to the agenda.
As a moderator, I'm calling you out of order,
Tom, you're breaking the law.
and I ask you to take your seat.
You're breaking the law, Tom. You are breaking the law.
Any other questions on region item?
Before you give your question, I just want to clarify one thing about the per pupil expenditure. And obviously it's something that we're very mindful of at Region 9. However, that number is something that you have to really look closely at. It includes debt service for Region 9, which accounts for the beautiful football field, which both towns enjoy, and the facilities. Those are all included in our per pupil expenditure. It's also important to remember that when you go from a school of close to 1,300 students and you go down to 850 students, it's difficult to retain all the subjects and the programs that we value. And downsize that into a smaller package. So, it just ends up where your per pupil goes up. So, but I think that you're still getting a great value for what we're paying per student at Barlow. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you for the clarification. Devin Weigel, Woodland Drive. I just wanted to commend you for adding a school resource officer. It's beyond the safety measures. Having another adult in the school that can connect with students is extremely valuable and important. And the work that resource officers do, the fact that they're trained police officers, and I think having them at the high school is an amazing resource, and I just think it's a great add, so thank you.
Jack Becker, 5 Cedar Road. So here, the Easton share goes down by $109,000. You're saying that's 1%? Nearly 1%? Nearly 1% of what? Because of that proposed budget, that's not 1%.
Nearly 1% of the increase.
1% of the increase. Okay, thank you.
I just have some questions about central office. It looks to me that their increase is just shy of $100,000. Is that correct? $33,000 approximately. Can you speak to how that is broken down? Obviously, one is for the human resources person that they're hiring.
Correct.
I presume some of the other expenses are just